Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do Countdown, episode number 71. That's right, fans. And sorry about the inconsistency of video, guys. Unfortunately, it's just been the summer job that's been killing me and very lack of time. So in the beginning of September, we'll be back on track of things. Probably starting next Wednesday, I'll probably go on probably about a week and a half hiatus just to get things back in order, organize things, spend some time with the family before the real fall kicks in. So with that being said, we have a total of 10 comics to talk about today, all physical copies. And the first book that we're going to discuss today is number 10. And number 10 is Batman Eternal, issue number 18. That's right, fans. Unfortunately, Batman Eternal will be dropped from my pull list. I hate to say it, but I find that the bad is outweighing the good. And for me to be spending $12 a month on this title, I feel that it's just not worth it anymore. So I might follow it digitally if I have access to it. That way, if I have time, I'll review it. It just depends what issues I get digitally. But $12 a month, it's just not worth it to me. The art is inconsistent. The title is inconsistent. There's too many subplots. I just find myself disinterested in certain issues, and it's just not worth a weekly pickup. And that is my opinion. This issue wasn't bad. I mean, it was pretty much a 3-star issue in my point. In my opinion, but again, the artwork is inconsistent in the book. There's funny looking faces, funny looking teeth, certain things in there that I just didn't like. Killer Croc was a little wild in here. But in this particular story, we see Jason Bard and Batman teaming up with Killer Croc. Jason Bard has this perception of Killer Croc and how he is and the way he acts, and that's not true. We get to see decent elements here with Commissioner Gordon, which I thought was pretty neat. And then at the end of this issue, you see Batgirl pitted against, all of a sudden gets controlled, and she winds up going against Red Hood and Batwoman. Again, where does this fit in all the grand scheme of things? I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end. There's a couple reasons why I was picking up this series, and that was because of, Stephanie Brown's Spoilers Return, that great preview issue that we had in the regular Batman title, which was really nice, but it's just not cutting it for me. So that's why it's going to be taken off my pull list. I feel like for $12 a month, I can get 3 to 4 more titles monthly than just committing to this every single week. So for me, I'm going to get a better payoff in the end, I think. So that's why I'm dropping Batman Eternal, and that's why it's number 10 this week. All right, so moving forward, we're going to go on to number 9. And number 9 was, and not that this comic was bad, but there was a lot of great comics this week. That was a 3-star book, and this was higher than that. And this was Rocket Raccoon issue number 2. I like this issue better than the first issue. Just because we're seeing, what Scotty's Young doing with the character, you get consistent with the artwork. You're seeing, more what personality he's putting on paper here with Rocket Raccoon. And, it's fun. It's a fun book. Don't take it too seriously. Take it for what it is. And that's what Rocket Raccoon is. And, in this issue, it was pretty fun. Love the opening page here. We have Rocket with the big, huge guns. I think that's pretty awesome. And we can see that he wants to be put into prison because there's this raccoon that's, doing all these killings. And supposedly he's the one that's, telling everybody that there's an imposter. Everyone's like, well, you said that was the last of your kind. You made that, you've said that many times. And in this issue, you get to see a lot of elements from basically Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's in jail. He has to find a way to escape, and he escapes. And he winds up growing Groot back, which was pretty fun. And Groot makes his appearance here in the issue. And we get to see him team up with, Rocket team up with some unlikely characters in this issue just to get to somebody else. so they can try to help him take care of the situation that he's dealing with right now. Artwork is fun. We all know Scotty Young's artwork on how it is based off of the variant covers that he's been doing for Marvel for a while now. And, I think Rocket's a fun book. Is it the best book on the market? No, I don't think so. But it is worth the read if you're looking to just take a break and just have fun reading the comic book. And it looks like it could get a little bit in more darker tone as the issues go along, a little bit more serious, I should say. So after reading this book, I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, so going forward, we move on to number 8. And number 8 this week was Invincible, issue number 113. This continues the whole terror, violence, mayhem, horror, and misery that's taking place in the Invincible universe. In this particular issue, we get to see a lot of our questions being answered in this particular issue. We get to see if Eve has the baby. We get to see if the baby dies or lives. You get to find out if Adam Eve dies or lives. And you get to see what's going on with Robot, and you get to find out what his proposal is on the table for the Vulture Mites. I thought, artwork in this book is very consistent. Each and every issue, Ryan Ottley does a fantastic job with this book. And you find out also what happens with Monster Girl in here. Great character moments here with Mark, as you get to see in the issue, with his newborn child. I thought that was really neat. Kind of takes a break from all the gore and the violence that happens in the particular series as of right now. And, not much progresses in the actual story plot, but again, all those answers or all those questions that you had of what was going to happen, it gets answered. And then you get to see a little confrontation with Mark and the little female that kind of raped him in the past couple issues, and you can see he was kind of trembling in the issue. I thought this was a fun read. Invincible right now is doing great stuff, and after reading this book, I gave this one a 4 out of 5. All right, going forward now, we go on to number 7. And number 7 is Green Arrow, issue number 34. This is the conclusion to Broken. Or is this the title Broken? But this is the conclusion to the whole Dragon story. And I think this is the conclusion to Jeff Lemire's run on Arrow as well, because now we're going to the producers from the actual TV show that are going to be taking over the Green Arrow series, and I think make it more like the TV show. And if they intertwine with each other, I'm not sure, but I think it could happen there. In this issue, you get to see Diggle being thrown out the window in the beginning of the issue. He's being thrown out. It's like, oh shit, Diggle, but he winds up surviving. It's, he's not going to die. Arrow saves him. And you get to see, Amiko really shine in this book. I think she's really been a good saving grace on how she says she's the apprentice of Arrow, of Oliver Queen, and I thought it was really neat. There's good character moments between Diggle and Queen as well, and one of the best things that was in this issue was the fighting between Dragon and Queen and Diggle, and Dragon to see on how quickly he can point out all the weaknesses and everything that goes on with Oliver and Diggle, and he almost single-handedly just tears them apart, which I thought was awesome. It's like ribs broken, nose busted, dizziness enacted. It was like he was like a robot. It was insane of all the stuff that happened in this particular issue. But in the end, of course, Ollie winds up prevailing against Dragon, and things kind of wrap up a little bit quickly here. I thought in the issue, which I didn't like. I thought, it was just like, oh, big battle between Dragon, and that was it. But it was still fun, action-packed issue, and and this was the conclusion to everything. And now we're going to start anew here in the Green Arrow series. So it was a fun read. if you guys are looking to pick up Jeff Lemire's run, I think it started on, God, how long has it been now? Was it like issue 21 or 22? So it's been a good 12 issues or so since Jeff Lemire has taken over. And I think he did a solid job with this. He really rose the series up, because when the New 52 came out, the series was horrible. And he made it more serious, a little bit more towards like the Arrow show. And still not quite there, but he brought life back into this series again. So after reading this book, I gave it a 4 out of 5. All right, so we go on to number 6. And number 6 this week was Earth 2, issue number 26. Yeah, this looks like another conclusion to the series. I think what happens now is it jumps into the weekly book that is going to be coming out, I would guess, next month, if I'm not mistaken, because by the time you get to the end of this issue, it just says the Kryptonian Part 6, and it says, next, 5 years later, Mr. Terrific fights for his life in Earth 2, Future's End number 1. So it looks like this book has officially ended now, and the weekly series will be coming out. That's just in time, because I just dropped Batman Eternal, and now I'll be getting this other weekly series. So hopefully that is good, and hopefully that is consistent. And Earth 2 was really pretty awesome here, because now at the end of this issue, it's balls to the walls. And I think Tom Taylor did a really good job in taking this book over and really, did a great job in concluding it and making this war, fantastic, bringing in Val the Kryptonian, Darkseid Superman. Just everything about this series has been really good. In this issue, you get to see Alan Scott trying to hold the Earth into place from being sucked into a gigantic boom tube, from Darkseid and from Apocalypse, and things like that. And then you get to see Val and Superman do this battle. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, you wind up witnessing that Superman's not really Superman here. And he falls apart into like dust and ashes. It was just this fake persona of Superman, which was really interesting. This series is really good. The artwork was consistent in it each and every issue since Tom Taylor has taken over. Actually, it's been really good since James Robinson actually wrote it. And, if Earth 2 truly ends and doesn't come back after this, I'm going to miss this series, because I've always been really excited for Earth 2. This was a great series, great book, great artwork. Volumes, if it's available to you, pick it up. It really picked up, though, when Tom Taylor started writing it, when he introduced Thomas Wayne, and in this version of Batman, and all these different characters like Lois in here, and it was just a lot better when his run came on board. He just gave it a little bit of a lift. It felt like Robinson started it, and then Tom Taylor just said, I'm going to give it a kick in the ass, and that's what he did here. So after reading this issue, I gave this one a 4 out of 5, and this series overall has been good. All right, so moving forward, we go on to our top 5, and number 5 this week was New 52's Future End issue number 14. I see this book now connecting more with Earth 2. You see it more and more. You saw it a couple issues ago, with Grifter going in, and he sees all the heroes from Earth 2. And you've been seeing bits and pieces and hints of what's going on. But in this particular issue now, we see that this triangle here, this is Lois, and she sees a vision. And she sees a vision of herself right here. And you're just like, whoa, what's going on here, And she has this crystal that she, got all these clues from, and she's trying to figure out, what's happening. She's trying to put all these pieces together, and it's just like it's talking to her, and it's just like subject red tornado, Lois Lane, and she's like, what? And she freaks out. That was really the best part of the book, her trying to solve this riddle that she's been solving this whole time, why she got this box. She found out who Tim Drake was, and she found out certain elements of the clue. She found out the bar, and now she just found out this final piece that hopefully puts things together for her. Certain other things in here were okay. You got to see the beginning of this where you get to see Deathstroke in here, doing a little battle with Big Barda and Amiko. And there were some cool things in this particular issue. You get to see Plastique and oh my god, I forgot his name. And Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis wind up finally coming to a conclusion on that they need to work together and to break into Refitech. So they finally came to that realization there. So there's a lot of good elements in this book. I see the potential in this series. It's really going to start coming together, I think, with the Earth 2 series. And I like it. I like where it's going. The artwork is consistent in this book, and I give it that. There may be lots of little subplots in here, but they touch on everything each and every week. At least they try to. So after reading this one, I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. All right. Going forward now, we're on to the top 4 books of the week. And number 4 this week is Kick-Ass issue number 8, the grand finale. That's right, guys. The big problem with Kick-Ass is that it's plagued by delays. And this book would be awesome if it came out every month like it was supposed to. Or if you want to read it in trade, it would be better because you can read the whole story at once. What would be even better is you would read Kick-Ass 1, Kick-Ass 2, and Kick-Ass 3 back to back to back, and you get the full effect of it. Actually, you read Hit Girl in between there too. Kick-Ass 3 was a good conclusion to this series. It finally got that grand finale of an ending that it deserves after real low for the first few issues of this. It started slow, we get to see the plot build, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's just like, it's like a movie. And that's how this book was perceived to be when you're reading it. You get to see the big 2 action stars at the end go out and make their stand against the bad guys, and just when you think things couldn't be more grim for them, that they were going to lose, that they wound up pulling out the stops at the end, and big explosions happen, and bodies go flying in the issue. Actually really good artwork here by John Romita Jr. When it comes to Kick-Ass, it fits the art, it fits the book, and the artwork is really done solidly here. Yeah, we got to see pictures like this, which I thought was really cool, and yeah, good stuff. So, I loved it. Again, bodies go flying at the end of this issue, and it was just fantastic to see. This was the page right here. I mean, this is just like a blockbuster movie, and it was really, really fun. And at the end of the issue, you get to see Dave grow up, and you get to see what Hit Girl goes through. And at the end of the issue, it acts like a movie. It goes blank, and then it just says Kick-Ass. And then you just think and sit there. You can picture an ending credit scene, or ending credit, ending credits, and then you get the ending credits scene. Because you have your ending credits where it gives you all the characters, on who they were throughout the series, and then you get like an ending credits scene where you see this little kid, and then you see Hit Girl holding the costume of Kick-Ass, being like that's going to be her next apprentice, and it kind of leaves you hanging. So that's what I liked about it. They made it like this was the next movie, and I liked that. I thought it was a really cool element. Again, the only downfall is the delays, and the delays are frustrating because it's one of those things that it's like you forget the story as you read it, especially when it's been 4 months since the last issue came out. So because of that, that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. Otherwise, it probably could have been a lot higher. All right, so going on, we're going to go on to our top 3. And number 3 this week was The Superior Foes of Spider-Man. When Superior Foes is good, it's good, and I love it. This particular issue focuses on Overdrive, and you get to see an origin tale of him. You get to see our heroes hiding. They have the big score, and they got this painting, and Shocker is actually hiding away from them as well. And in the meantime, we get to see Overdrive tell his story on how he wanted to be a superhero. He read all the Marvel comics. He read all about Spider-Man. He read about Iron Man, and he wrote about everybody. It was great because he tried gamma raying himself. He tried getting spider bites in himself, and he's like, dude, I put myself in the hospital. He tried learning karate. Everything failed. Then he became this big race car driver, got into a huge accident. Mr. Negative winds up coming to his side in this particular, you see in the origin. And he's like, well, okay, I'll join the bad guys, and then I'll become good, And so that's what happened. And you find out that his power is to touch cars, and the cars go fast. And the humor in here and the character moments between all the other villains was hilarious, between Speed Demon and Beetle. And the Beetle actually gets turned on by Overdrive when he's telling his story in the past. And they actually hook up. And the hookup was very poor in the Beetle's eyes. Let's just say he ended it short, and she rated it a 2 out of 5 as a hookup. And it was hysterical. And he couldn't activate his powers because he was spent. Great artwork here when it comes to the high-speed trace that happens in the issue. I thought this issue was fantastic. It was really good. I found myself laughing here. I love when it goes into depth of characters like this. So after reading this book, I was pleasantly surprised. Gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was fun. At the end of the issue, you find out that Shocker, was listening to him the whole time. They were making fun of him, and by the cybernetic head of Silvermane, Shocker has no more, and he just sits there and he's like, this gang's got a new boss in town. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, good stuff here. Really liked it. Really happy about it. 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. All right, so we got number 2 pick of the week. And number 2 was the Superior Spider-Man, issue number 32. This book, guys, was really, really good. It was tough to pick a top pick this week, but there was only one reason why this book didn't get that number 1 pick. Love the cover here, Scotty Young cover, fantastic cover here. And this was based off of that Spider-Man story, the Superior Spider-Man story, where he made that time jump when he was trying to stop this temporal time event. And he winds up going into 2099. And going into this book, I loved how it was such a great surprise on how this leads into Spider-Verse, how this is Doc Ock's responsibility on him stopping what's going to happen. I love how that happened. But the whole downfall was when I got my hands on this issue at first, it took me a while to read to get into it, because I saw that he was trapped into here. He was trapped into Spider-Man 2099. He comes into Miguel Herrera's brother. He talks to this, he talks to the hologram wristwatch thing, and you see him, he's trying to get, that he's trying to get back into time, go back to his own timeline. So at this point, you're almost halfway through the book, and you're sitting there going, okay, well, we know he's trying to get back in his timeline, and he already makes it back, and he was, experiencing something, but you didn't know. And little did you know is that he was experiencing the deaths of all the other Spider-Mans in the parallel universes. And I thought that was awesome. I'm like, holy crap, he's witnessing everything, and he's witnessing all these Spider-Men that are dying as he was trying to get back to his own timeline. Then he finds the actual villain on who's doing it. Now, you don't know who it is that this is. Now, a lot of us already do know, based off all the previews and everything that's going on, but it was awesome to see Doc Ock really trying to save all these Spider-Men from all the different universes. And we find out that he's responsible for gathering a team to defeat the villain here. And that really surprised me by the time I got to the end of it. And I thought the cool thing of this at this particular issue is that you've witnessed the first Spider-Man that he does recruit into his ranks, to defeat the villain, and we get to see that the villain actually defeated Logan, which is very fitting of what's going on with Wolverine right now. So again, artwork by Giuseppe Gomacoli was solid. He's done the Superior series a lot, like split the time between Humberto Ramos and himself. And I think with that and the surprise that it had, I thought this was pretty close to being my pick of the week, but it didn't get pick of the week because it was such a slow developing book, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. But really good read, and it got me excited for Spider-Verse. Like, it got me super pumped for it after reading that. I'm like, dude, I gotta read everything now for Spider-Verse. All right, so the number 1 book of the week goes to Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 4. 4 was great. From beginning to end, it was perfect. I love the beginning of this book. You know, Katie Bishop finds out in the last issue that she winds up getting told the secret that Miles Morales is Spider-Man. And there's this whole thing going on. She tells her sister, can't tell her parents though. We don't know. Can't tell anybody. Can't tell her parents. And it's just this huge deal. And the artwork by Dave Marquez is always fantastic. The facial expressions here are phenomenal. It tells the story in their eyes. You can just see it, how shocked they are and surprising, and just in how much pain a character is between the characters here in the artwork. But this was a great beginning with the story with Katie Bishop, and then it goes right into the action. You have Green Goblin here facing Miles Morales, doing this huge battle, and it was pretty awesome. And then what happens is you kind of expected it eventually, was that right when you think Miles Morales is going to be downed, here comes Spider-Man, the true Spider-Man, or at least we think at this point. And then you see everyone is witnessing what's going on here. And I love this page. It's one of my favorite pages. You got Gwen Stacy on May. You got Genki on there. You got Mary Jane looking out the window. Oh, I love it. I love the picture there. It's gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And the battle between the two, between Miles and Spider-Man and Green Goblin, were just epic. It was just a super awesome fight. Great to see those two teaming up here. And by the time you get to the end of the issue, Green Goblin goes flying out somewhere, and we see that the two Spider-Man are about to get arrested because you have these two vigilante type of Spider-Man out there, stealing stuff and doing things that they're not supposed to. So the police officers think that these are the bad Spider-Men. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to see. And Aunt May sees that, Spider-Man's on TV, and Gwen's like, it can't be him, it can't be him. And Aunt May's like, I know it's him, I know it is. And it's just like, she's like, I know Peter's alive, and Gwen just can't help start crying. My theory on this particular issue is that Peter never died when he fought the Green Goblin in the original Ultimate Spider-Man series. I think somehow S.H.I.E.L.D. cloned him. They sent the clone to fight him, expecting the worst case scenario, and if Peter won, then Peter would win. But the clone winds up dying, and now that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been destroyed, or something is, that they've been taken over, or whatever it is, Peter is now released, and he's been slowly getting himself back into the fight and trying to convince people that he's not dead. So he's got to do that in a slowly type of way. That's my thought on the whole thing. So could it happen? I don't know, but it makes a great discussion, and it's a possible theory here. Otherwise, with that being said, this series is so consistently good each and every week. I think it's gaining more and more popularity. I think the artwork, I think if Brian Michael Bendis doesn't write another title and he just stuck with Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man in general, that's fine with me, because if there's a title he can write, it's this book. Coupled with the artwork here, it makes it nearly impeccable. It's almost perfect each week, or each month. So great stuff. Great stuff. So this gets my number 1 pick. So guys, there you have it. There is the countdown for the week. You guys in the comments below, tell me what your favorite book of the week was, what your worst book of the week was. And guys, again, after next Tuesday, Wednesday, look for about a week and a half hiatus up until September, and then we'll get rolling once again. So guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0, and until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.